everyone. Welcome to Never Rate Podcast. I'm your host, Don Trey. Tonight, we have a great topic for you all. We're going to be talking about changes adults face when becoming a parent. Our special guest is my sis, Ariana. It's going to be a fun show tonight. I encourage all questions about this topic, especially for our newer parents, people who have been parents for a while. We want your questions. Ari, she's going to ask me a couple questions. I'm going to ask her some questions, and we're going to get into it. All right. I'm going to tell her to log in. Anyone who wants to join the live versus commenting your questions, feel free to send me a DM, or you can just request it whenever you're ready, and we'll pull you in. Like I said, this is going to be definitely a fun topic. I'm really excited about this. She reached out to me regarding this topic, and I said, yeah, we definitely got to do it. So yeah, start dropping your comments. We're going to get right into it as soon as she logs in. Time is it's 9:05. Tonight we are logged in we're live on Facebook and YouTube. TikTok's playing games. It was live on TikTok last night. Got a lot of views, got a lot of likes, but now they're telling me I got to wait another week before I go live again. So we're going to make it work with what we got. All right, let me see where Ari's at so we can get going. We got some viewers on YouTube, people tuning into Facebook. Also, as a way for her to join, I mention this on every show. Any topics that you guys want to talk about, any suggestions, if you want to host a show, let me know. We have a great lineup over the next couple of weeks that we're going to be doing. I could share that with you guys while we wait for her to log in. It's going to be really fun. 1 second. Last night we had a great conversation. It was a little wild one, talking about women in their gym clothes and how their men felt. You guys had a lot of things to say about that. Let me go to this one first. Next Monday, we have a late one with Junior Ray and Estella. We're going to be talking about the difference between unconditional love and friendships and why males enjoy being around their guy friends. This was a topic that stemmed on Facebook. Junior made a post regarding this topic, and it went crazy. A lot of women were giving their input. A lot of guys were giving their input. Estella actually came with some great insights on the topic, so I reached out to them and see if they wanted to come on the show. And it's a late one, but it's going to be fun. And then the following week, we have Jai and Treyandra coming on. We're going to be talking about the difference between men and women and who has it harder. I already had a couple guys reach out to me on this topic who wants to tune in to this episode and give their insight. This is going to be another fun one, I think. And then what else do we have? And then August 20th is a Wednesday. I have Darliana coming on. We're going to be talking about, can a man successfully raise a female on his own? What do you guys think about this topic? Let me know in the comments. Our first show, we talked about can a child does a child need their father? So now we're going to be tuning in. What's up, sis? Hold on, I can't hear you. I'll wait for her to come back. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this one. Can a man successfully raise a female on his own? I don't know what happened to Harry. She just disappeared on us. And then following that, starting on August 27th, Every Wednesday, me and my better half, we're going to be talking about, we're going to have the autism corner, raising awareness on kids who live with autism, um, talking about various different things. We want to have different guests every week, from parents to, we're going to have BCBAs, board certified behavior analysis, we're going to have autism spectrum disorder advocates, teachers, special education teachers, people just giving us their knowledge on this topic. I think it's a big topic that doesn't get enough respect. So we're definitely going to tune in on that. Let's see, Ari just came back in. Let's see if she can hear us now. What's going on? She just disappeared again. She's having a few technical difficulties. But yeah, the autism corner. Any parents who are raising kids with autism spectrum disorder, or have a cousin, a niece, or a nephew that wants to talk about this topic, please send me a message. We want to hear your stories. We want to hear your insights. There are a lot of parents out there who are doing this on their own. So please chime in, send us a message. When we go live, we want to have a lot of guests to talk about this topic with. Like I said, it's a great topic. I'm raising a son who has autism. I've been working with people who have autism for the last 8-9 years, and it's a constant growing thing, so yeah, we're all learning as parents, as cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever. All right, let's see. Ari's coming back in.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, thank the Lord. Oh my God. Hi.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. So I was just giving people the rundown on a couple shows that we have, and then we were talking about tonight's show.
Okay. Sounds good.
I have to find my questions that I sent
I'm
you.
pulling mine up right now, actually.
So what we're going to do, we'll go back and forth. I'll ask you the first question, you'll answer it, and then you'll ask me your question, and then we'll get right into it. Tonight we're live on YouTube and Facebook. TikTok is acting crazy, so.
Okay, I see that. Okay.
All right. So my first question for you is, what is the biggest change you faced when becoming a parent?
So for the last 2 days, I've been thinking about that question because I feel like that's a big one.
Hold on. Can you turn your mic up a little bit? You're real low.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear her okay? I just want to make sure they can hear her. I have headphones on, so they may be able to hear you a little clearer.
I could be talking low too, so I don't know.
Is your phone like this or like this?
Like this. Should I put it this way? Is that
Yeah,
better?
yeah. Honestly, no, I think you're good. But right the other way. It should be good.
Is that better?
So, yeah. All right. So what is the biggest change you faced when becoming a parent?
So I want to say finding the balance between myself, my family, and my relationship. I think that's the biggest challenge because it's a huge change for yourself, for your partner, and for your family as a whole.
Yeah.
So it's trying to find that self care, trying to keep that spark alive in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to learn how to be a parent because it's your first time, or it doesn't matter how many kids you have. Each time is it's different when you have multiple kids.
Yeah.
So it's just learning yourself and your family and your what works for you and what doesn't, that balance, because it's hard trying to be a different version of yourself towards everybody.
Yeah.
It's you're a different version towards your kids, towards your partner, and towards yourself.
I think you hit that right on the head. I have two kids. They have two different moms. Each experience was different for me, but like you said, it was like starting all over. Trying to find yourself, even as a man, everything's different. Your schedule's different. Your sleep schedule's different. Your partner's sleep schedule's different. So yeah, definitely trying to find that balance. I definitely agree with that. Sure.
Yep, definitely. Just that balance, when I was And I was thinking too, like, I feel like a huge one too, like the changes is the responsibilities, because like when you're not a parent, like you care about bills, but it's just like like maybe like I could wait a few days on this bill, but then
Yeah.
when you have kids, it's a whole different ball game. So it's like
Mhm.
you have to be on it, like like
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's not just your life in your hands anymore. It's like like
Mhm.
you have kids to worry about. So I feel like that's like a big change too. It's
For
like
sure,
taking
for
on that
sure.
responsibility of somebody else.
Great
Um,
answer, for sure.
Let me see my questions. Which one do I want to ask first? Um, should I go in order and how I sent them,
Oh,
or does
it's
it
up
matter?
to you. It's up to you.
Uh, hmm. Why do you think couples aren't lasting after having children?
Oh, so it took me a while to think about this one. Honestly, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with your answer. Trying to find that balance. I think as men, we don't realize the changes that women really go through when they become a parent or after
Yeah.
childbirth in general. I think we understand that women go through changes, but we don't really acknowledge it and see it right away.
Hmm.
For us, it's all right. We have a new baby. Yep, we're not sleeping as much. Yep, they're not sleeping
Yeah.
as much. But psychologically, it takes a toll on a woman. They're not just thinking about, all right, I just had a baby. Now my body needs to get back together. No, now I'm in charge of an entire human. I'm checking to see if they're breathing every 5 seconds. I'm wondering if I'm doing things right. Did I burp them too hard? Did I, wipe them too hard? And why are they crying? So I think, honestly, I think as men, we don't give women enough time to really go through the changes. And I think it's a lot. I also think I could speak to this for our generation and even probably generations before us. I just think we don't give women enough time. I think it is too much. And
Hmm.
sometimes for women too, I think their expectation may be higher and they want to expect more out of a man when you become a father,
Hmm.
which obviously that's the expectation. You're no longer just in a relationship. We're both in charge and responsible for this little person. And not for nothing, once a child is born, the woman's natural response is to go into mama bear mode. But for
Hmm.
men, we can go back to work the next day. We can go hang out with our friends. We can go back to total reality and not realizing that the woman goes through so much. And I think we take it for granted.
Hmm.
So I think that's why a lot of relationships don't last after childbirth because we don't acknowledge what women actually go through. For sure.
Okay.
All
So
right.
do you,
Next question.
do you think? Wait, I got a
Oh,
follow up
okay.
question to
Yep, yep, yeah,
that. Because that was a lot. Do
yeah.
you do you think women acknowledge the men and what they go through enough after?
Say that again.
Do you think women acknowledge the men after enough and what they go through and what their change is like?
No, because I think it's an untold story, right? Men don't
Hmm.
communicate how they feel after a child is born. I know I haven't. I have two kids, and I never really told either one of their moms what I was feeling after a child was born. I know personally we go through a lot because now you're trying to balance. When do I go back to work? Am I going back too soon? These bills are piling up. Do I stay home to support her? Do I get a new job so I can be home more? Is it selfish that I'm going back to work? Is it selfish that I can just get up and go? I don't think women acknowledge it because again, everyone's going through this change at the same time. So as men, we just bottle up, we
Yeah.
deal with it. We're not even expecting people to really ask us how we feel because it's just an unsung thing. You know what I mean? Especially nowadays. I mean, I know 5, 10 years ago, 7, 10 years ago, men weren't able to take time off when the child was born. That wasn't a thing. That just started to
Yeah.
happen.
It just started.
So like now, I mean, honestly, there's no excuse for a man to not be there for at least, everyone gets 12, 13 weeks. So if you're rushing back to work, that's because you don't want to be home. That's how I look at it. You get 13 weeks where you can claim, TDI or temporary caregiver insurance, so you're home with your partner. And I think that being put in place probably plays a huge part in how women can actually get a break, because they know after that 13 weeks, it's just me, 9 to 4, 9 to 5, 3 to 11, whatever shift your partner is working. I think more men need to take advantage of the time that we get off when a child is born. And I know in the field I work in, a lot of men don't. They come back to work a week later. Some take like a half leave where they work 3 days and then are home for 2 extra days. But I don't think women acknowledge it or know, because men don't really show emotion when a child is born. They just, I'm dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true.
Right. Next
It's kind of
question.
sad too.
Yeah, it is for sure.
All right.
So,
Next question.
a follow-up question for your first question actually is perfect. Have you found a balance between motherhood and self-care?
Um. So I've been dwelling on that question too, and the answer is no. It's definitely no.
No?
I don't think there was ever a time where I could say yeah when I was thinking about that question. Like I feel like I'm like learning about myself that like pouring like my cup is filled by pouring into others.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm still trying to find that balance where like shopping for my kids, it fills me up, but it's not for me, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like so that self care. Like I would rather I'd rather buy something for my kid or do something for my kids or plan something than spend the money on like myself or like massage or something or just anything like
yeah, yeah.
so so no I haven't found that balance between like my motherhood and self care like and I feel like it's hard like like because I always feel guilty because like I could go towards something else, you know.
Mhm.
Like oh, I could be spending time with them. Like
I think that's just a natural mother instinct.
yeah, I think
Sure.
so too. Like
I
I
do
don't
think
know.
it's important that you eventually find that balance and you don't wait too long
Yeah,
to find that balance, because you're never going to be able to give your kids everything if you're not the best version of you.
yeah, exactly. So and that's what I'm learning too. Like like sometimes all it takes is like a longer shower than usual, or like
Yeah,
to go on a ride by myself, get a coffee, or like just do those simple little things that like at the end of the week it adds up, and then we have a better day or a better week or outcome.
yeah, for sure,
especially
sure.
especially on days that like that get overwhelming and like overstimulated. I feel like a lot of women like especially when they feel bad about like doing stuff for themselves, but like all they
Mhm.
need is like 5-10 minutes to just go outside, take a deep breath, like like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and like sometimes we feel like we can't have bad days, we can't take the little 5-10 minutes to just cool down and just like relax and not worry about what this kid's doing or do they have to eat or is it nap time yet, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I feel that for sure.
so yep. So no, the answer is no.
But hopefully you find it sooner rather than later, for sure.
Right, right. Let's see what question. Okay. What's the one that? Okay. So this is. I guess this is kind of like a follow up to your answer to my follow up to your follow up. I guess that makes sense. Is a man experiencing postpartum considered weak?
No, absolutely not. I think a lot of men don't even realize they experience postpartum.
Hmm.
I don't know that we can even speak to what women feel like. We only know what we see, right? So I think as a man, um, I didn't experience it with my first child, but with my son, I definitely had some glimpse of postpartum. He was born in a unique time, 2020. So dealing with COVID and, being locked down and then dealing with all the changes, with having two kids in the house and all the things that we were going through, you realize that you change as a person. And I guess we don't realize it's postpartum, right? Because eventually you go back to yourself with this added layer of reality. So I don't think it's weak. I think it's weak if men don't acknowledge it. I think it makes us weaker if we don't acknowledge that we're experiencing that change and telling our partner, like, listen, we're both going through this. But if you shadow it, you hide it, and no one really knows, you're only doing yourself a disservice. So I don't think it's weak, but I think it needs more acknowledged from men. And if they don't understand that they're experiencing it, listen to your partner. If they're telling you like, hey, are you okay? You seem a little off. Like, take that in and don't take it to offense. Really understand what they're saying to you. So for
Yeah,
sure.
I feel like that's right. Yeah, I feel like it doesn't get acknowledged enough. Like, like because obviously, like, women carry, the child for 9 months. We give birth to it. Like, like when it's when it's when it's all said and done, women are like, the sole protector. Like, because it's like shit.
Mhm.
Like they came from me.
Right, right,
So
right.
yeah. So it's like and like you said earlier, like it's a lot of changes between men, like, because all you guys are really thinking about is like, oh, the bills, like, when am I gotta go back to work, like, oh man,
Mhm.
it's been 10 weeks, like, like, so it's like a lot of women are like, and like you said, men don't communicate how they feel, so it's like women are just like, like, he needs to take care of me and that's it, like,
Right.
he don't matter, like,
No, for real, for real. Nah,
so it's just
that's for
like
sure.
that is, yeah. So I feel like it does need to be acknowledged more. That men have feelings too, and it's a huge change for men and women. Like, because it's not just about like physically, it's about mentally too, and emotionally. Like,
Yep.
like, because like men have to do like more to grow a bond with a child rather than a woman. It's like it's a natural instinct. So it's
Yep.
like a lot of women don't acknowledge that neither.
No, that's definitely true. All right. Which one do I want to ask next? Next.
Let's see. Is it my question next or yours?
Oh my.
Yours.
All right. So, how did becoming a parent affect your relationship, good and bad?
So I want to say we kind of went through it because like me and my man, like, our backstory is I got pregnant when we was dating for like 3 months, so it was fairly early. So it's like we went from like, being young and wild and doing whatever we want, and like not reckless or nothing, but like, just having no responsibilities besides like our little bills we had, like, rent, whatever the case was, like,
Mhm.
but that's it. And then one day I ended up pregnant. Like, so I feel like the communication had to get better, obviously. Like, it wasn't just me living like where I was living and he was living where he was living. It was, we had to come, like, I'm pregnant now, like we have to come to one, like, like, I was still getting to know his family, so that was kind of like, like a big change for them as well, because, like, I was a new face to them, like, it
Mhm.
was it was, so that was kind of, I guess you could say, like, in the middle of good and bad.
Yeah.
um our, our parenting styles, like, I feel like that was a good one, because it's like we sat down and had a conversation about, like, like what we expect out of each other, like, and like our ways of how to do things, and just have, like, an adult conversation. So I feel like that was, like, um good. But I feel like um the bad is, I really don't have any bad. Like, I feel like me and him, like, were like, we co I can't say co-parent, but we parent really, like really well. Like,
Yeah.
we match each other in a good balanced way. Like, so it's like, um but, but maybe just like, if I had to say it bad, like, managing stuff, because like I like controlling stuff and he does too. So it's like
Yeah.
just that. just that balance of like the responsibilities, like bill wise, like and money wise. I would
Yeah.
say that. But other than that, that's the only like that I could say.
No, that's dope. I definitely think that reality that sets in quick, right? Like
Hmm.
Tay just commented, it sounded like our story. Yeah, like 3 months in, we went from just not a care in the world. I already had a child, but not a care in the world to well, we're having a kid. So yeah, that reality sets in. You're deciding like who's moving into whose apartment and like what balance you have to find. So I definitely think that that reality sets in real quick when a kid gets
Hmm.
involved, way before
Hmm.
they're born
It
too.
does. Way before they're born. As soon as you see those two lines, it's like,
Yeah.
dang. Seriously. But yeah, that's. I feel like those are the goods and the bads. I feel like um, there's definitely way more goods than bads, thankfully. But um, that's really it. Let's see the questions. Okay, I did this one. Let me just cross off these questions that I already asked before I pressed. Wait, I called us two shots. Big one. Okay, and I asked that one. All right, guys, let's get a shot. I poured
Listen
it
up
earlier,
for
but
sure.
waiting for my kid to bed. Ooh, that was a tough one. Ooh, golly. Okay, what questions did I even? Oh, I asked that one. Okay. See, I'm already messing up. Okay, next question. Okay, boom. Would your would your parental techniques be the same if you co-parented instead?
Hmm. So that's a good question. And I and I thought about this one for a while, and it was tough. So both my situations were really unique. For my daughter, her mom had a different parenting style than I did.
Hmm.
So even though we were in a relationship, we kind of went back and forth on how we should raise our daughter. Um,
Hmm.
and I wish for the beginning stages, I spent more time understanding her style than just sticking to what I thought was better.
Hmm.
Because I think in the long run, it would have been more effective instead of just like I said, sticking to no, this is how I'm going to do it. This is how she's going to do it. If we probably would have. Hold on. Taya said she didn't have the question. So the question was,
I was just typing it right now.
oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, I think if we would have spent more time listening to each other's parenting style and kind of combining the two, we would have been more successful. I mean, we still did a great job raising her. We're still doing a great job raising her, but I think in the beginning, I think when you're in a relationship, people don't understand that the word co-parenting is extremely important. I think when
Go
people
ahead.
hear the word co-parenting, they think separate households and the kid
Hmm.
is living different lifestyles, but that's really not the case. For my son, it was kind of like the same way. Me and Taya had the same parenting styles, but she did things a little different, and it took us a while to find that rhythm. I had more experience, obviously, because I already have another child. But for her, I didn't want her to think that I was telling her what to do all the time. So I kind of just let her find her own balance in terms of
Hmm.
parenting.
Hmm.
So I think with our son, we pretty much found that balance pretty quickly. But yeah, for my daughter, I definitely think if we would have spent more time in discussing our differences in parenting styles and kind of trying to make them work cohesively, we would have had a better outcome. But like I said, we made it work, but I think parents need to spend more time, before the child is born, talking to your partner on, do you believe in this? Do you believe in that?
Hmm.
How do you want to raise your child when this comes up?
Yeah.
Is our kid going to be Catholic or Pentecostal or
Hmm.
Judas? And I think people don't understand that that plays a huge part raising a child, and it also plays a huge part of how your relationship is going to wind up. If you're
Yeah.
totally on two different levels before the child comes and you didn't even discuss it, it makes it very stressful once the kid comes, for sure.
That's true. That is true. Yep. It's those little things, like I said earlier, those little things that add up. Like just
Hmm.
having that 10 to 20 minute conversation, like because it's like you have 9 months. Like
Hmm.
if you can't figure it out in 9 months, it's not gonna work out. Like
Yeah, for
especially when it
sure.
comes to certain things, like little things. It's like all right, like because nobody's perfect. But
Hmm.
if you can't figure that out in 9 months, then there's no point. But then and that's the sad part too, because it's like a lot of people, nowadays, they just automatic from the bat, just
No, for
are
sure.
co-parenting. It's like not a lot of people are being like, cautious of the outcome of, having unprotected sex. It's like
Yeah.
you can
Nah,
be
I definitely
you can
agree.
be out here reckless, just reckless thinking
No,
like,
especially our generation,
yeah,
definitely a little reckless with it.
yeah, disgusting.
Bringing a kid into the world is different.
Yeah, for real.
What is my next question for you? Oh yeah, this is a good one. If you could go back and change anything you've done as a parent so far, what would it be?
Uh, I would give myself, I would give myself, my man, more grace and more patience. I would give myself just,
Okay.
because I feel like the first year is hard. Like that's not like a make it or break it right there. That first year of parenting, like because like it's not even just like the sleepless nights. It's just like everything that like that comes with it. And
Yep.
I feel like we didn't give ourselves more grace at all. Like we were doing the damn thing, but like every little thing that we wasn't doing, we was just like just I feel like beating ourselves up about it. Like
Yeah.
like we wanted to just be perfect, like do everything we could for our kids and now our kids. So I feel like this time around with our second child, it was definitely different. Like we handled it more better. Like
Mhm.
we already learned from our first child, and I feel like we slept more, because I feel like that's like the main thing. And like the first few weeks is sleep, because like you said earlier, like we're sitting there making sure like the baby's breathing every 5 minutes. Like I swear, like the first week, maybe even two, I didn't sleep at all. Like so, it's like just being miserable and like just acknowledging that we're both trying and we're both going through a change. It's not just me. You know,
Yep.
I feel like we're giving ourselves more grace, just patience. Like
No, for sure, for sure.
niggas wear condoms. South Park goes crazy.
Say
I can't stand people. Oh, wait, let me see my other question. What changes really impacted you the first year?
it took me a minute to think about this. Obviously, with having two kids. So for my daughter, the change was very unique, I would say. So my daughter was born in 2017,
Mhm.
and she was born August 2017. I had back surgery in May of 2017. Um, so by the time she was born, I was pretty much good to go. But I had been out of work for so long that I had to go back when she was 4 weeks old
Oh
because
damn.
I had used TDI for my back surgery.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I went back to work, working second shift. So I was home most of the day, and her mom pretty much had her while I was at work 3 to 11. And the changes I had to really deal with was knowing that I was leaving her in a brand new situation, probably at the hardest time, right? 3 to 11. The first couple
Mhm.
hours are straight, but when it's time to put that baby down, it's like they're not going down right away. Not at 4 or 5
Right.
weeks, knowing that, she had complications at birth, knowing that she really couldn't move as good as she wanted to. So
Mhm.
it was tough, because again, life goes on. You have bills, you have to pay these bills, you have to provide. So the biggest change was trying to find that balance. So it was like making sure that I was up before work instead of napping, right? Up all day, helping her out, letting her rest, and then doing all the wake ups on the overnight to make sure that she was getting the rest because I knew I wasn't going to be there for eight,
Mhm.
9 hours, right? So the biggest change was finding that balance, and it was tough. It really played a toll on our relationship, on how we parented, how we communicated. And then for my son, the first year was really tough because we were dealing with COVID. No one's leaving the house. You're not able to see your family. Your family's
Mhm.
upset with you because they can't see this new baby. You have new grandparents involved, new aunts and uncles. So dealing with not only your child being born in this scary predicament, and then him missing out on social activities, right? Not being able to communicate with other people or see other people other than his family, not going outside because you don't want your newborn baby outside. Doctor's appointments are virtual, so he's not even really getting any type of human contact outside of the four walls that they live in. So those were the hardest changes, trying to balance this new reality of living at home 24/7, not having any time for yourself. Your partner's stressed out because they're stuck in this house, they're going through postpartum. We're all in it together, so it is what it is. Ain't no one going nowhere. So I would say like those changes were hard, and it probably took us like 2 years to come back from all the
Mhm.
changes that we endured that first year, for sure.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like all those changes are definitely like huge changes and just finding that balance. Sometimes it takes time. Like I feel like sometimes like as a human we just think like changes happen overnight or they're gonna happen in a few weeks or a month. But sometimes it takes a while. Like if they happen, like some changes like you can't change from. So like
Hmm. For sure.
let's see.
Is it my turn? Oh, the last question. This is a good one too. If you got any new parents watching, this is definitely a good question for you. If you could give one piece of advice to new parents, what would it be?
I would say give just just like I said earlier, patience and grace.
Hmm.
That's it. Just have patience and grace. Like some days are gonna be hard like a lot of days are gonna be hard. And I feel like I tell this to a lot of new parents all the time. Parenthood is hard. Motherhood is hard. Like
Hmm.
you're gonna definitely have more hard days than good days in the beginning. Like yeah, like the cuddles is cute, you know, but the sleepless nights, just the overwhelming feeling of am I doing enough? Like are they fed? Oh man, I gotta change their butt. Are they okay? Oh shit, they got a rash.
Yeah,
Like it's just like everything piles up, and like you can try to prepare yourself all you want, you know, when you're pregnant or like just before having like a child, and you can tell yourself, oh, the next day I'm gonna do better, but it takes a lot of patience and time and grace. Like it really does because it's like you're going through a lot of changes as well. Like the baby is like it's a lot, and like nobody's perfect, and and I would say like if you love them, just hug it out, you know,
for sure.
communicate, communicate, and like I said earlier, you have 9 months until that baby gets here, and if y'all really can't work it out and make it work, the best thing you can do is move on. That's it, like because it's not just your life anymore. It's a whole another human, So if y'all can't
No,
figure it out,
definitely.
move on.
Not for real.
Sometimes love is not enough, you know.
Yeah.
Move the hell on. All right. My last question. I think it's my last one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think it was harder to grow a bond as a man to your children? Did the and then did the bond with their mother make you jealous?
So for me, so the bond with my daughter was a little harder at first, obviously, because I wasn't home a lot. I mean, I was home, but I was working, right? So that bond that she had with her mom was different. So when I would give her mom a break and I would take her, it was harder for her to adapt to me putting her to sleep versus her mom, or for me to be around her more because she was used to her mom setting her. That motherly attachment is
Mm-hmm.
immediate from the womb to out the womb. So it was definitely hard for me to grow the bond, but there was no jealousy because I felt like just being able to give her that break when she needed it was
Mm-hmm.
all I needed. If I struggled, it is what it is. She's been holding it down. I'll give her that break, and I'll struggle with it.
Mm-hmm.
For my son, I was lucky because I was home the first year of his life. So the bond was pretty mutual between me and his mom. I
Mm-hmm.
was able to, she couldn't go anywhere because we were on lockdown. But I would go in the living room, close the door so she could be in the room and give her that break that she needed. Do the wake ups. My son, he was up from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. for the first, I think, 5 months. So I was, I take him in the living room. I put the PlayStation on, play the
Mm-hmm.
game, put him in the swing, and we was up. And then, when his mom got up 7, 8 o'clock, I would go in the room. I would go to sleep. And so, like, we were like on opposite schedules because I wanted to make sure that, like, Taya's not a night person at all.
Mm-hmm.
She don't play that. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I can handle being up on the overnights, and then, I'll go take a nap from like 8 a.m. to noon, and I'll be revived. So
Yeah.
I got to grow a different bond with him because when but where I messed up was when he seen me, he was like, "Oh, it's time to wake up."
Mm-hmm.
So he'll see me at 2 o'clock in the morning. He's like, "Oh, it's time to be up," because I'm in the living room with him. He's like, he thinks it's smooth. But no, there was no jealousy. I was very lucky with my second child to be able to be home the full first year of his life. I went back um, to work, yeah, a couple months after he was born. Wait, what she say? Oh, actually, I forgot. Taya went back to work before me. When Pop was 6 months, she went back to work and I stayed home. So I was a stay-at-home dad for a little bit. That
She
was
was on
kind
that
of dope.
ass.
Listen, that
She
was
says,
kind
"Yeah, don't forget, buddy. I went back to work."
of dope. Nah, bro. Hey, you know what? I seen that on Facebook a couple weeks ago. Should fathers, is it a problem for a dad to be stay at home? I'll do it anytime. Sign me up.
I think I posted that.
I think you did. Sign me up. Oh, for real. I think, but I also know that, being a stay at home parent, that you're still working, like, and I want to put that out there for any people who think stay at home moms got it easy.
Mm-hmm.
They're still working. They're just not, clocking in. They don't clock out.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing everything 24/7. So
Yep.
I definitely think people take that for granted when people say, "Oh, you're just at home," but no, being at home is like you're at home. You're doing everything. You're running errands, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're meal prepping, you're doing laundry while raising kids. So I definitely think stay-at-home moms or dads, whoever is staying at home, doesn't get that acknowledgement that they deserve for sure. All right, so we're gonna dive into these comments. Let me go back up. Like I said, anyone who wants to join the live, let us know. We'll add you. All right. So Jordan's first comment was, "I've learned to have self-care days as going to the movies, roller skating, enjoying things I love to do." So that is something that we don't talk a lot about, right? I actually, one of my word of the days was self-care. Like you said, Ari, it doesn't take, much for you to get that time. If it's 5 to 10 minutes, if it's a couple hours, the time you get, you definitely should take advantage of it and enjoy it because it doesn't come often. The reality sets in. So I definitely think that self-care is extremely important for sure. For sure.
I agree. I definitely agree to that.
Okay. So Taya said her first comment was the fact that they're giving men the time off says a lot. They must think men need to, excuse me, they must think men need it as much as women, which kind of goes with men going to postpartum. Exactly. I think we've lived in a time where men were just expected to go back to work after a child was born, and people didn't realize that them being home is just as important as a woman being home. Yes, the woman endured that pain. Yes, they're going through those changes, but men definitely go through those changes, and I definitely think we don't acknowledge it enough because we don't really see it. What I mean? Other people may see it, but we don't see it right away. For my son, when he was born, the only reason I seen it because I was home 24/7. So it was easier to acknowledge the changes that you're going through versus other people seeing it for sure.
So what do you think? Like, what do you think? Well, yeah, I guess I could say, what do you think? Um, like men go through like postpartum, like because I feel like a lot of men don't know about like anxiety or depression, like one random day they got like this like really heavy feeling in their chest, and they're like, what the fuck is this? So it's
Mhm.
like what do you guys go through? Like like is
For
it just
me,
like mental changes? Is it like bodily changes? Like
for me, it was definitely again. So dealing with being on lockdown during COVID. So that mentality alone, right, takes a toll on you.
hmm
But for me, so like I have anyone who really knows me knows I have the most patience in the world. I'm very laid back, nonchalant. I noticed that my patience was very thin for everyone around me, for my girlfriend at the time, for my daughter, my son. Very, very thin patience. And I was like, at first I didn't realize it, but one day I snapped at my daughter. I don't even know what it was. And I was like, that's not you. You know what I mean? So I was able to acknowledge it. But again, you're not thinking of the word postpartum, right? You're just thinking, I'm tired, I haven't been sleeping, I'm locked down in this house. But it's definitely a sign of postpartum because when women do it, what do men say? Oh, she must be going through postpartum, right? So it's the same thing. We just don't hear about it enough and we don't acknowledge it enough. Um, Yeah, so and other men may experience it different ways. It may be that tight chest feeling that you get randomly, but we just keep going. And as men, because we're natural providers, we don't acknowledge those symptoms that we get. We're just like, oh, I know for me, like I went through a time where I had high blood pressure for like 6 months and I didn't even pay no mind. Because you're just like, oh, all right,
it's
I'll take the
scary.
medicine, but no, what do you need to change
hmm
to get rid of it? You know what I mean? So I think as men, we definitely don't acknowledge the feelings that we feel. We don't acknowledge our health like we should, because we're just natural providers. We're just, all right, I'll figure it out eventually, which is definitely a terrible mindset, but it's
Yeah,
definitely, it happens for sure.
and like you said earlier, like men get like 12 to 13 weeks, but that's if they have a career where they give it, because a lot of men, like especially this in this generation, like with these kids, they, their jobs these days are scamming. Like
No,
they don't
that's
have no they don't have no time off. Like like there's nothing like they have cash app cards and that's it.
so that's actually so like for the men who I mean I hope y'all are watching. For the men who bring kids into this world and you don't have a job to go back to, you should be with that kid every day, at least for the first 6 to 8 months. Now, if you're hustling and you got a side hustle and you got to, if you're, I'm not going to use that term, but if you got to go make a play or two, yeah, but you should be with that kid. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a 9 to 5, 3 to 11, 11 to 7 to go back to, you should definitely be with that child, because you know what happens when men don't do it, especially this younger generation. One day turns into three. Three turns into 4 weeks. 4 weeks turns into the child's first birthday, but yet you're in every picture, but you ain't been around. It happens. We all see it. It's not an unsung truth. It's something that happens on the regular. And then women are looked at differently because they're spazzing out. He's a deadbeat, and there are a lot of deadbeats, and it is what it is. And I hate when men and women use the term towards other women who are calling out deadbeats, like, oh, who you lay down with. It's bullshit. When you decide to make a child, whether it was an accident, whatever, it doesn't matter. You take on a different responsibility. You are responsible for that child. I don't care if you knew this person lived this lifestyle. I don't care if he got 3 kids you don't take care of. It's still your responsibility. So to put that on a woman is absolutely terrible. And people do it on a regular.
My dad always said growing up, once you make your bed, man, you gotta lay in that.
Absolutely.
You made your bed, not lay in it. Like my dad always said, once you open them legs, like
Yep.
you gotta know them consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
no, that's real. All right. What else we got? I'll tell you, so I think all women feel like that, because that's me too. I definitely feel like, damn, that's 100%. I myself, I could have been, when you were talking about finding that balance, and do you make the decision to buy yourself something or buy your kid something? Are you doing something wrong because you did something for yourself when it could have went towards your kids? I definitely think that women need to acknowledge that their households don't operate unless they are there, right? And I think like you guys need to do more for yourselves and know that your kid's gonna be fine. Like Sarah, let me put this outfit down and let me pick this up for myself. You buying yourself something that's $25 is not going to change your child's life for the next 6 months. And obviously, you guys go into that mom mode, and you feel like I need to, but it's okay to say, all right, I'm gonna grab this week for me, and then grab him this next week. But 9 times out of 10, your kid's closet is full. They got what they need. You can make that pit stop and grab that pint on your way home, and
right.
No one's gonna know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It'll be all right.
Right.
But again, that's just your natural. That's how you guys are built. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a bad thing, but it's something that women need to acknowledge more. Like, I can do this for myself, and no one's watching. And if they are, mind your business, because I'm holding it down 24/7 for sure.
Right. No. That's true. That's definitely true.
Sure. All right. Next comment was Jordan said, as a first-time dad, I'm still learning how it is being a parent, but I'm learning also how to give myself grace even when I'm trying to. That's big. Obviously, I tell people this all the time. There's no rule book to parenting. Our parents can give us all the advice, all the pointers, but when you're in it, you got to figure it out on your own. I think if you're trying your hardest as a parent, there's no right or wrong way to do it. If you're giving it your all and you're trying your hardest, no one is gonna. Some people may try to correct you, and I would tell them, people, mind your business. I'm doing this my way. My kid's okay. I'm fine with how I'm raising them. But what I will say for parents, lean on your parents if they are willing to allow you to. If your parents are there and they're offering advice, lean on them, accept that advice, because they know some shit that we don't. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't agree with the way they're telling you to parent and their style, acknowledge it, because there's going to be something that comes along that you do agree with, but if you're constantly resistant to the help they're giving you, they're not going to, be willing to give you that advice over and over again. So even if you don't agree with it, acknowledge it. It makes them feel like they're giving you something, and it keeps them more involved on that journey with you, for sure.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and like you said, it depends what they're saying. Like obviously, some parents, especially some people, like are still learning, like how to even give advice without offending parents. Because it's like you said, like sometimes if you don't agree or just new parents in general, like I feel like especially women, we take stuff like that sometimes offensive. Because it's
Mhm.
like, am I doing something wrong? Like, did I say something wrong, or did I, like, am I a bad parent? Like, so
Right.
it's like we're so hard on each other that when someone is just giving us advice or like just like a little tip that we have to sit back and just think about it, like they're not out for us, they're just trying to
Mhm.
help us, and like and who those people are. Some people are just smart asses and say shit like
Yeah,
exactly,
for real.
but you know who those people are.
Yep, for sure. Right. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, when you ask the question, people, what advice you would give to it said sleep while you can.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely get that sleep while you can. And
Mhm.
maybe on the floor in the kids' room, and maybe on the couch for 10 minutes. Get it in while you can.
Yeah, we literally put a mattress in a living room just to have an extra mattress. Like if the baby's in here in our room, or like
Mhm.
both the kids' rooms are like have a kid in it, like just so we could sleep. We put a mattress in the room this time because we're like one of us needs to sleep. Like that is mandatory.
Xavier said, patience is the key in teamwork. Absolutely. Patient. You better have it. And not just for your kids, for your partner, right? Because we're gonna piss you off, you're gonna piss us off, and patience is definitely something that's not talked about enough. And people need to understand, like, you can't. I work in the field of human services. I always tell my staff, don't take it personal when the person you're working with is pissed off at you. They're mad because of the role you're playing right now. Same thing as parents. When you're in mom and dad mode and your girl or your boyfriend gets pissed off at you, they're not mad at you. They're mad at this parent and shit right now. So let them have that moment. Let them be pissed at you. Acknowledge it and don't take it personal. So I think that definitely is extremely important. And
Yeah,
then
like you said,
teamwork,
like
right?
yeah,
I can't tell you
yeah.
how many times, like, I'm like, damn, this baby's up. Tell your guy, but do I go back to sleep or do I just get up with her just to thug it out with her? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And vice versa. She's probably like, he got it, but do I just peek my head in and wait for him to tell me to go back to sleep because he got it? But teamwork is definitely, especially for those first like 2 months. Nah, nigga, ain't no one sleeping. We're both together for sure. It is
Yeah,
what it
for sure.
is. For real.
So, it's, it's a team effort for real, and it's just parenting in general. It's just a team effort. Like like. But I feel like like parents have to realize too, like you can sit down and have those conversations about how you're gonna parent, but
Mhm.
there could be that one messed up Friday where I don't like how you said that. You know, I'm not feeling it. But it's just like you said, don't take it personal. Like I'm just going through it, like in that moment of parenting, like I'm
Yeah.
overwhelmed, or the man could be overwhelmed too, like like because not every day is gonna go the same. Like it's just like half the time it's not even personal. It's just in that moment where well we're just overstimulated, and we just need like
No,
to
for
just
real.
like to be left alone. Like sometimes to just be left alone is just the best thing you could do
Nah,
because
absolutely.
everything's gonna get under your skin.
For real. What else? All right, people who are watching, I got some questions for you guys since no one wanted to join the live. Is there any advice that you guys in the comments will give people who are new parents, people who are thinking about becoming parents? Drop those comments in there. If there's any topics that you guys want us to talk about regarding parenthood, drop us some questions and we'll answer them for sure. Jay said, not for nothing. And it's crazy that after we have the baby, we have to bleed for up to 6 weeks, and emotions are everywhere. That's a response for you.
No,
I've
it
never
is.
experienced that.
It is crazy. It is because sometimes it's like 6 weeks and then you get your period immediately after, and it's like, to be technical, like women only have 1 week that's for self, like, and a lot of men don't understand that, like, like, because you go through like ovulation period, you go through pre-period, you go through period, and then that 1 week where it's just like a self. So it's like the emotions are just crazy, especially after birth, because you're still like healing your insides. Like, it's just crazy, and it's like we don't realize it because our body does everything for us. But like the first 6 weeks is crucial to just relax, like, just chill, like, because like our insides went from this to this, like, it's crazy.
It is for sure. So, Xavier said more father support groups. Absolutely. Men are stubborn though, right? We're stubborn as hell. Um, I tell people like, my kids are my world. But we're definitely stubborn when it comes to acknowledging the feelings, when it comes to acknowledging that our partners are not the only ones doing it. We're stubborn. We don't acknowledge that. We're dismissive. I know I have been. It's taken me a while to acknowledge all those feelings and realize, like,
Hmm.
yes, I'm working all these hours, but so is my partner. They're just working them at home because they're taking care of the house. They're looking after the kids. They're doing this. They're doing that. But I definitely think because there's not that many active fathers that we see on the regular, we definitely should be supporting each other. We should be leaning on each other and giving that support for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
I would like that, like, more father support groups, yeah, because it's like, it's okay. And it's like, men are just prideful, like, especially when it comes to other men. So it's like, for like for one man and another man to sit down and actually have a conversation about what they're truly going through, and how they're feeling, it's rare, and like, not a lot of men go to therapy or counseling because they see it as weak, you know. It's just like, it's just those changes that have to be made, like, to just see growth, especially when it comes to children, like, like majority of the time you got to put that pride aside and just, like, be like, yo, this is how I'm feeling, I would like for you to do this, or what you're doing is not helping, like, can you try doing this instead, like, and that's just what it is. It's just communication, like.
And I think even in general, not even just father support groups, parent support groups. I've sat in rooms like just because of the work I do, where I've learned stuff from moms, from dads, and I think coming together as parents, as young parents, it's extremely important for us to rely on each other and bounce ideas off each other. Because again, there's I feel like if you're giving it your all, there is no right or wrong way to raise kids. You know,
Hmm.
there are different alternatives. There are things that we can do and learn from.
Hmm.
But if anyone's calling you a bad parent or trying to dismiss what you're doing because they don't agree with your child, with your parenting style, then those are not people you want to be around. Anyone who is making you second guess what you're doing for your kids and you're putting your all into, there's a difference between correcting someone and then and helping someone, right? I'm not going to correct anyone's parenting style if I feel like they're giving their all, and even if they're not, it's not my position to ask the
Hmm.
person how they're parenting or why they're doing this or why they're doing that. Like, it's all on how you approach. I tell people that all the time. Like, if I don't agree with something you're doing, I may be like, oh, I might ask a question pertaining to the situation, but I'm not gonna be like, why are you doing that to your kid? Like, oh, where did you learn that? You know what I'm saying? Oh, but I do this. It's all how you approach this. The last thing you want to do is approach a stressed out mom who ain't slept in 2 days and you're asking them why they're doing something with their kids, because they're probably gonna cuss you out. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with dads too. Like, I feel like dads don't get enough acknowledgement of how they are with their kids. And I feel like some dads are hesitant to do certain things with their kids, like public, or if you're at a park and your kid's doing something and you want to say something, but you're surrounded by women. Me, I've always worked with people with developmental disabilities, so I'm always in that awkward situation, so it doesn't bother me. But I have seen, dads like hesitant to step in, if their kid's doing something or if someone's doing something to their kids. Like, we need to speak up, but also be willing to take that feedback when we get it, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I definitely agree. I definitely agree that like there's no right or wrong parenting.
No, for sure. What other questions do we have? Xavier said, I saw after my daughter was born, there were so many supports for women, which makes sense, but no aftercare for dads. That's true. Right out the hospital and say, men should be offered the same resources. But you know what the problem is? Men don't speak up.
Mm-hmm.
We don't.
Yep.
I think women speak up, right? They go to the doctor, post-op, whether it's the OB or the child's first follow-up, and they say, the first thing the doctor asks is, hey, mom, how are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And 9 times out of 10, men, you might not like this, but the man is never at that appointment. Because I know when my son was born and the doctor asked me that question, I was there, so I was able to answer. She was able to offer some resources because I was there. That plays a big part. Most women don't have the follow-up with their OB until like 2-3 months after the child's born. But you're gonna have those first few appointments with your child's doctor, and if you tell your child's doctor that you're experiencing something, they're going to give you resources. But if the men are in the room and they speak up, they will give you resources. But they usually only ask the woman the question because it's usually only the woman that's there. That's just the reality, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying, like if you have to work, you have to work, you know what I'm saying? But there's no adequate resources now for men. Taya said, do the men get asked how you are doing in private doctor visits? I think that's a question for the men in the comments, because I have the luxury that my PCP has been my PCP since I was born. And it's also my kid's PCP. It's my mom's PCP, my brother, my sister, and my wife. We all have the same doctor. So if the kids have an appointment, she's asking about me. If I have an appointment, she's asking about the kids. You know what I'm saying? So we have that luxury, but not everyone is offered that. You know what I mean? And Xavier said, no, they're not asking you that question. It sucks, you know what I mean? Because they're not worried about men, but that's because a lot of men don't come forward when struggling. And that's just unfortunate. That's how we're built.
That's how it is.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
That's how it is, unfortunately, yeah. Men get the shit end of the stick. That's just how it is.
Any other questions from people in the comments or suggestions? Or I see we got a lot of people joining the live. Any advice you can give to some new parents? Styles of interaction of how you parented? Anything you can, throw out there for people who are thinking about becoming parents, other than wear a condom? That was going out there. Anything else?
I'm the president of my church. Oh, someone said something.
Oh, we have a few comments. All right. So Tay said, and that's when y'all got to speak up and tell them how you're feeling. Just because they don't ask doesn't mean you should suffer. Absolutely. Speak up then. Jordan said, I'm the president of my church men's ministry group where we meet on Zoom every Saturday at 7, 8 p.m. and talk about things men go through and how we navigate through life as men of faith. So you hear that, men? If you need a support group, it's virtual. I think that's a great outlet. Definitely lean on people. Don't be afraid. And that's the biggest problem too. Like, men think if they come forward, they're weak. But everyone has feelings.
Everybody does. Everybody does. Straight up.
Any other insights people want to give? Questions
Good night,
you
girl.
guys
Good
want
night.
to ask?
Taylor said she's going to bed. I feel you, girl. Connect with Jordan.
Now, for real, Jordan, we definitely gonna have to get you on here and talk some more about that men's group. I definitely think a lot of people can benefit from that. So I'm definitely gonna hit you up so we can connect on that and shed some light on some of those issues for sure. Anyone else got any questions? I see a lot of people joining the Zoom. Ladies, gentlemen, any advice you'll give some parents? Any questions you guys want to ask us related to parenthood? No more questions. I needed TikTok to let me go live. There was 9 questions on TikTok last night. Told me I gotta wait another week.
Oh my God, TikTok be fine for real.
Let me see if there's questions on YouTube.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
No more questions, James? There's no questions on YouTube either. All right. Well, that's done. Yeah. Since you
Wait,
don't
nobody
have
has any questions?
No. That hour went by quick. I didn't even realize it was 10:15. That's crazy.
That's what happens when we're just chatting.
No, for real.
Yapping it up.
Jordan said, I thank you guys for this episode. It's really helpful. Absolutely. I was really looking forward to this one. This was a good one.
Yeah. And this,
Sure. Like I always say, anyone has any topics they want to talk about, let me know. This is not just for me. This is for everyone to raise awareness. Give us something to look forward to. Have different conversations, serious conversations, fun conversations. We're all learning from each other. So anything that you guys want to discuss, we'll go back to a few things that we have coming up next Monday. This is gonna be fun. People have been sending me messages about this topic with Junior and Estella, which is the difference between unconditional love and friendships and why males enjoy being around their guy friends. This topic's going to get heated because they was going at it for a while on Facebook. They both had some good debates. I haven't really had a chance to think about this one yet. I'm going to let them hash it out, and then I might give my opinion on it. For those of you who don't know Junior, he's very animated. So ladies, he will make you upset, but that's what makes the shows better, right? He doesn't shy away from those tough conversations. So it'll definitely get you guys going and riled up. They will both be in the studio for this one. So this is going to be our first in studio. X, I might need you in here with the camera because it's going to be a little bit crowded. We need some good angles. This is going to be a good one for sure. It's a late one. So if you don't catch it, I'll definitely be posting clips and stuff. And then the following week, we have Jai and Triandra. We're going to be talking about the difference between men and women and who has it harder. There's a lot of people who want in on this topic. Men and women have a lot to say about this topic. I think women have it harder. Sorry, guys, but we shall wait for the conversation to happen on live to see what different men have to say. I obviously think women and men live completely different lifestyles. And you can compare on who has it harder in certain situations, but I'm gonna have to go with the ladies for this one, guys.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like that one definitely needs a guy on it.
yeah, you definitely need someone who doesn't agree with my opinion.
Yeah.
Junior already had a lot to say about this one, so he's probably gonna be on back to back. And then August 20th is a Wednesday. It's our first Wednesday show. We're going to be I have Darliana coming on. We're going to be talking about, can a man successfully raise a female on his own? I think this is an interesting topic. If there are any men out there who have raised a female without their mom being in the picture, please send me a message because we would love to get your insights. What I will say is, if there are any men who have done it, I applaud you for sure. Some women say it's not possible. I don't know. I know if I had to raise my daughter on my own, it would definitely be tough. So I think this is going to be another great topic. And then starting the following Wednesday, me and Tay are going to be doing something called the Autism Corner, where we're going to be talking about, the issues and the struggles we go through raising children who have autism. I got a lot of messages about this topic, and I decided that it could not just be a 1 week thing. So we're going to do it every week. If there's anyone out there raising kids or has a sibling, a cousin, an aunt, an uncle who has autism, we want to hear your stories. We're going to have board certified behavior analysts on some episodes, autism advocates, behavior specialists, special education teachers, and most importantly, parents. I think this is a topic that has raised a lot of awareness over the last couple of months and years, but we're not talking about it. Parents are not getting the support they need when it comes to this topic. Doctors are only telling you what you need to know on a regular basis. They're not telling you that there are different things you can do, because obviously if there's a way to cure certain things, they don't make money. I'm not saying there's a way to cure autism, but I think there are things that they don't tell us on a regular that parents can learn from. There are a bunch of autism support groups out there for parents, which I think is amazing. But yeah, that's our lineup for the next couple of weeks. I have like 30 messages I haven't responded to about shows. People are filling up my calendar like crazy with different topics. Junior wants to do a whole series. His next topic is, who's the prize, men or women? I don't know if I want to be in the studio for that one. He's trying to cause trouble. I gotta go home at the end of the night.
Oh my God. He can talk all day, that guy, I swear.
It's crazy. But you need people like that on the show. They'll definitely get the conversation going, for sure.
Right.
Well, all right, sis. This was fun for sure. I was definitely looking forward to this one.
It was definitely a good one. I feel like we need to do a part 2. You know.
Oh, definitely do a part two and get some more guests on here so people can share their insights and ask their questions. We'll definitely schedule a part two. This is definitely good.
Definitely.
All right, guys, we're logging out. Thank you for everyone who joined.
Thank you, guys.
All right, have a good night, sis.
You too, bro.
All right, bye.